So far, we've worked with fundamental types like integers and floating point numbers, objects, whether defined in the library, like string in the standard library, or in our own code, like person and tweeter. And I've mentioned structs, which are essentially identical to classes. Just to round the picture out, I want to talk about enums. So I'm going to add another header file into this system. And I'm going to call it status.h. And in here, I'm going to define an enum called status. And like a class, an enum has its definition inside braces and has a semicolon at the end of that last brace. And we simply list out possible statuses. Now, an interesting thing about C++ enums for people who've come from other languages is that when you use them, you only use these internal things. So I wouldn't say status.pending, I would just say pending. That means that these names need to be unique. I can't have approved as part of a status enum and also have it as part of a completely different, unrelated enum. Very often when you read other people's code, you will therefore see kind of decorations of bits of extra words, like it might be status pending, status approved, status canceled, to keep that uniqueness in an enum. I'm going to keep these ones simple and we'll just use one. So if I go back into my main, I'll just declare a status S, give it a value like pending. You can see the compiler saying, huh, what? Don't know what you're talking about. It's because I haven't included the header file. So let's go up here. Status.h. Give it a minute. It should become content down here. And once I've declared the variable, I can obviously change its value at any time, just as I did with integers and so on. So I can say now that S is equal to approved, and that's a legitimate thing to do. So if I run the application under the debugger, and we'll just step through all this part, you can see here S is just an arbitrary value at the moment. It hasn't reached, control hasn't reached that line, so it hasn't been initialized yet. We step over that line, and the debugger actually shows the enum value pending, and we go down to this line, it shows the enum value approved. So in the debugger, I can see the word value rather than any underlying number that's inside it, and it saves you as a developer having to memorize a lot of strange numeric values for error codes and statuses and the like, and it makes debugging simpler as well.